This is Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles from Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Retirement isn't just about saving, it's about having a strategy that helps you navigate market ups and downs, combat inflation, and secure the future you deserve. That's why Financially Fit Radio is here to tackle your biggest financial concerns, share actionable strategies, and help you move toward your retirement goals with confidence. And now, here's Financially Fit Radio with Cory Sickles.
Welcome back to another episode of Financially Fit Radio. I'm Cory Sickles with Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. If you'd like any information about anything we discuss on the show today, feel free to reach out to us. You can always give us a call at 614-760-0670, or you can always visit us online at safeharboroh.com. While you're checking on our website, make sure you click on that radio page. You can listen to today's show, previous shows. You can also subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or Spotify. Also, feel free to watch today's show on our YouTube channel. Just type in Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors. Go to the Financially Fit Radio playlist, and you can listen to today's show, previous shows. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can be kept up to date when all of our new videos come out, our Financially Fit Radio show, as well as our video shorts, where we're putting out, somewhere around 4 to 5 of those on a weekly basis as well. Again, we're here to help and to make sure that you have the best retirement that you can. And just remember, anytime you schedule a meeting with us, all meetings are complimentary and there's no financial obligation. And again, our phone number is 614-760-0670. Or you can always, again, visit us online at safeharboroh.com. Well, can you actually save too much for retirement? We're going to talk about that today. I know a common, assumption is, most people out there worry about not having enough money in retirement. But we'll really get to kind of discuss, is there such a thing as having too much in your savings as well? But before we dive into that, let me introduce to you my co-host this week and every week, and that's Tony Shore. Tony, how are you?
Well, I'm doing great, Cory. I find it an interesting question that you're asking today, that you're examining. And I'm curious as to see where you're going with this, because you're right. Most people worry about not saving enough. But is there such thing as too much savings? I can't wait to get into that. First, you had a great weekend this past weekend, got a lot done. I did go to the Minnesota State Fair, which is the second largest state fair in the country. Yeah. And wow, did I eat a lot of great food. Holy shnikes. I ate way too much, but such good food at the fair this year. It was unbelievable, really.
I'm sure it's all pretty low calorie food though, too, right, Tony?
Super healthy. You can actually feel your arteries harden as you eat the cheese curds and the deep fried whatevers. I had a Scotch egg on a stick. So good. These garlic cream cheese wontons that are the best wontons I've ever eaten. Amish donuts. The line for the Amish donuts 2 hours long, and people would wait in it. And that's how good they are. They melt in your mouth, so soft. That was pretty popular item this year. And all the pickle stuff, like pickle pizza, and they had pickle beer this year. And I'm not as into it. The pickle pizza is surprisingly good. I'm not even a pickle fan, but it was really good. So
I don't know about the pickle beer.
Yeah, somebody said it was not bad, just a slight hint of dill, but I don't know. I don't like dill. I don't like that flavor. They had beer flavored ice cream this year, which I did try, which wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's not like it blew me away, but
like a light beer or what?
Wasn't it too bad? Beer? It was just ice cream. That had a beer flavor to it. It was actually pretty good. I was kind of surprised. I just took a taste of that. I didn't get any myself.
Right.
But yeah, we enjoyed it. All three of our adult children and their significant others made it. So that was kind of fun. Yeah, kind of a family reunion there. That was yesterday. So had a lot of fun, ate too much as usual.
Yep.
Feeling a little logy today because I was at the fair yesterday. So, but I'm glad. That's why I'm glad we have an interesting topic. So I'll make it through. I'll make it through. This is a good one. And you've got your golf tournament coming up.
Well,
What's the date?
it's not till September 20th.
September. That's this month. I mean,
It's
that's
this month. We're in September.
yeah,
So we're a couple weeks away, Tony.
yeah. Only a couple weeks away.
The old Jester Cup.
The Jester Cup. Now,
Yep.
you didn't fare so well last year, but I know this year you got some. Hopefully, you'll get some ringers. You got some ringers coming in on your team. I know you've been really talking a little bit of trash. I like that. Kind of making them worry. I bet the Jester family's kind of sweating.
Well, there's two ways to take it, right? They can sweat, right? Or, they can kind of let that motivate them.
That's true. I don't want to motivate them. Yeah, you don't want to motivate them really, but it doesn't. I mean, does it really matter? You're going to hit one of your trademark hole-in-ones, and that'll.
That's what I wouldn't mind getting one over there.
Wouldn't that be great?
In Indianapolis? Yeah, that might not be too bad it'd be a pretty good day.
It's not at your usual hole-in-one course where you usually get them. I mean, haven't you had 3 at one course?
I have.
That's crazy.
3 different holes,
and 3 different holes too. That's amazing. Somebody might say, "Okay, you got this hole figured out," but 3 different holes. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a couple weeks away. We will see if old Team USA is ready to take on the Jesters here.
Team USA. I mean, how can you not root for Team USA? You see those 2 names. Are you going to root for Team USA or Team Jester? Right? I mean, that's kind of a given. We're all behind Team USA here, Cory.
Yep. The nice part is, Tony, not only that, but we're the underdogs.
Well, coming in from last year, sure.
Coming in from last
underdogs.
year.
Yeah.
Yep. We're just hoping to, we're just hoping to compete, Tony. We're just hoping to compete. Make it interesting going into the final day. That's all we want.
Yeah.
We just want a shot.
And for the kids at home, remember, kids, no wagering.
Yeah, no wagering.
But
it's all good fun.
But I'd have to go with Team USA if I did.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, that's fun. Now,
one other thing before we kind of dive into the topic here.
Okay.
Saturday I went to the Ohio State Texas game.
Yeah, Ohio State, awesome.
Ohio State, and as I'm reading the news today, Ohio State's the new number 1 team in the country.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna have a target on our back, but it was a beautiful day on Saturday, nice and sunny day, and great football weather.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Great win, and we'll see how this year goes for us.
Oh yeah, that was I can't. That poor Arch Manning. As well.
Well,
everybody thought
poor Arch Manning if you're a Texas fan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think they threw him with the Wolves. His one of his first game he starts for the season is against Ohio State. That's got to be tough.
His first road game he's ever started. So
and they did it against Ohio State. That's crazy. Yeah, that's kind of nutty. But I don't know if he even had a chance. I mean,
maybe we'll see him again come college football playoff time.
Yeah, he had the jitters a little bit. I think he'll be okay. But
he did.
Yeah, he had the jitters. But Ohio State, they're looking good. They're coming off a great year again, of course. So I'm not too worried about Ohio State now. I watched that game actually. That was interesting. So and then the Clemson game was good too.
There was some great football on over the weekend. The Notre Dame Miami game was good on Sunday night.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that one, but I heard it was good. I saw some highlights. Yeah.
Yep. And this upcoming week is it's NFL, so football is back.
Yeah, and for our listeners and viewers, look for me in the crowd on the Monday Night Football game. I'll be in Chicago at Soldier Field.
Yep.
First level, I think around the 40-yard line, Cory. So
Well, I mean, we'll see what old JJ McCarthy can do.
I hope he has a better start than Arch Manning did. That's for sure. First game against the Bears in Soldier Field. We'll see how that goes. But let's get into the topic, because can you save too much for retirement? And I guess the common assumption here is people always worry about not having enough.
Well, Tony, I probably would say the number one worry of anybody going into retirement is, are they going to outlive their money?
Sure.
Right? Which means, are you truly saving enough now? So when the day comes, when the paycheck stops, and you have to start taking money out of your retirement savings, is it going to be there, as long as you, and if you're married, as long as you and your spouse live? So that's always a common worry. But, we always talk about this, how much should you save, and, what number do you want to get to? Everyone's different, right? But I think one common theme is everyone should try to at least save around 15% of whatever, you're bringing home on an annual basis. That's a good starting point to be able to, if you're always saving 15%, then odds are when the time comes for you to retire, you're going to have a nice little nest egg there, right?
Right.
But you also have to kind of look at, there's also, while you're living today, somewhat of a lifestyle balance, right? Are you giving up some of your travel, your hobbies, or some of your family experiences today because maybe you're saving maybe a little bit too much? Now, again, what I'm definitely not saying here, Tony, is that if you're saving 15%, then maybe you can cut that down to 10, right? But what I am saying though is you want to make sure that while you're working and while you're living, that you are experiencing things that you want to be able to do. It's a lot easier to be able to travel while you're working, while you're young, you're healthier, right? And I know a lot of people aren't able to do that because maybe they're saving, or maybe they're working and they don't have the vacation time in order to be able to do that, and they plan on traveling and seeing things when they do retire. But saving shouldn't always come at a cost of enjoying life now. So you got to have a balance there. You always have to be able to save. That's the most important part. And I think one of the biggest things that I see people do, and that is the way that they do save, right? And what I mean by that is, are you putting too much of your money just into your 401k? Right? So you're overfunding potentially tax-deferred accounts that's going to grow. And then when you retire, now you got to start paying the taxes. And if you aren't taking enough money out, now you get in a problem with taking your required minimum distributions at some point in time. It could, if you're being taxed on the majority of your income in retirement, you might not see any tax savings breaks when you do retire. Most people don't retire, say they're in a 22% tax bracket. Most people don't retire and then go down to a 12. I'm not saying everybody, but most people stay within the tax bracket they're in. And not all of a sudden, if you have your Social Security and maybe a pension, and now you have retirement savings come from your 401k or 403b or some type of tax deferred account, then all of your money in retirement is going to be taxed, right? So one of the things you should always look at is you want to save, but you also want to save in different types of buckets. You want to have money in your 401k. You want to potentially have money in a brokerage account, or what we call non-qualified, where you're only taxed on the growth going forward. Those type of funds are more liquid to you as well.
Sure.
Right? If you're in a 401k, Tony, and you're 55 years old, for example, and you're still working at the same company, you have to tap all your savings is basically into your retirement account, and all of a sudden the air conditioner goes out or you need a new roof, you don't want to have to take money out, get taxed on it, as well as now have a 10% penalty because you're not at the age of 59 and a half.
Yeah,
So it might be
you have to be pretty much be 60 before you can take that out
right.
without a penalty, and people don't realize that you can't just tap into that money. You need to be careful how you do it, when you do it, and that's where you come in. Don't do any of these things without working with someone like yourself, because as you're saying, there are a lot of strategies and tons of tax implications when it comes to 401ks, IRAs, all of these types of accounts, right?
Yeah, I mean, you always hear the phrase, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing when you start saving. Don't put all of your eggs in a tax deferred like a 401k. Make sure you have money in a brokerage account. Maybe you're able to go in and put money into a Roth account, or maybe you're able to put money into your Roth 401k account instead of a tax deferred account. You want to at the end of the day, you want to have money in a retirement account, in a brokerage account, and a Roth account. They have all different types of tax implications for you. But the one thing you don't want to have is all of your money being taxed when you're in retirement, because not only are you going to be paying more taxes there, you could potentially pay more taxes off of your Social Security because you're also making more money as well. So you really need to consider tax implications when you're actually saving, right? So can you save too much for retirement in a 401k? The answer would be yes on that. So you want to make sure you're diversified on that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, diversification, balance it out. Like you said earlier, have some money in that bucket, have some money in the tax-free bucket, like a Roth, right?
Right. And I'll just leave it here on the last thing there. Retirement isn't just about how much you save, it's about where you save.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty a key. So you do need a mix of taxable, tax deferred, and Roth accounts for your overall flexibility and liquidity. That's going to be able to help you, right? One thing that here's the balance, right, Tony? People are living longer,
Yeah.
right? So you need to be able to have a good balance, even when you're in retirement. You need to kind of have. This is why it's so important to work with an advisor. It's easy to be able to save. The hardest part is when the paycheck stops, and now you got to start taking money out of that. So you got to have a balance. You got to be able to plan for how long you're going to be here, but you also have to be able to plan for enjoying life in retirement as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I mean, the healthier you are, the better your retirement's going to be, and the more you're going to save on healthcare in retirement. But you do have to save for health costs. I mean, the two biggest costs, you just covered them. Taxes is going to be one of your biggest costs in retirement for a lot of people, and then healthcare and long-term care, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We all know that, right?
Yep.
And you can even, if you wanted to, you can even save, so you're putting money towards a long-term care plan. And long-term care plans aren't like they used to be. Now if you can't perform two of the 6 daily activities, you can activate a lot of the long-term care riders within different types of products out there, which means you don't have to actually be in a facility. If you want to stay at home and someone comes in and takes care of you, you can activate it there. Maybe you do go in assisted living, and ultimately you could go into a long-term care facility. So, having a plan to be able to protect yourself and your family from long-term care, then that's something that you can work on, today as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I know you work it into people's plans, Cory. You can work long-term care coverage and healthcare coverage into the overall financial plan where people are at. But the key is planning. Plan early, plan often for these types of things. What's next? What do you want to talk about next?
Well, I think you just kind of talked about something. I think one of the things that's important is when you work with an advisor, we're going to have planning tools. We have our Compass report that we provide our clients. And really that Compass report is really a blueprint to show you year by year what your income is going to look like in retirement. And more importantly, how much money you're going to have left. And, we always throw inflation in there. So your income should increase every year while you're in retirement to be able to keep up with inflation. And I think over the last couple of years, people realize the impact of inflation, right?
Right.
It's gone up quite a bit. Everything's gone up. Things are going to keep going up, and you want to make sure that the day you retire, that you're going to have enough money to pay your monthly budget. But we also know those increases are going to happen year after year as well. So that's why it's so important to be able to have a plan, have a compass report. And the nice part about when you have a financial plan or like a compass report or an income plan, Tony, is we can adjust that. Things change, right? You might inherit money. You could lose a spouse. So as things happen throughout your life, we're able to go in and adjust that plan to show you what that roadmap's going to look like as you kind of go through your years of retirement. Just because you have a financial plan, it's not in stone, right?
Right.
So you need to be able to adapt because things do change. Maybe you spend less later on. A lot of people, I can tell you this, a lot of people go, well, I want to spend money in my 60s. I want to travel and do all this stuff. I'm not going to need as much money in my 70s and 80s.
Right.
Well, I have not yet had really anyone come to me, Tony, and say, hey, I hit 75. I'm done traveling. So you can take away $20,000 a year of my income. That's not the way it works.
Yeah, I've been guilty of thinking that way. I mean, it's easy to get into that mindset of I want to spend it all now, and then but I still have my health, which there's some argument to that, but at the same time, you're going to need that money as you at a certain stage, like the no-go years for things like healthcare, and you're still going to have expenses.
And those expenses are going to go up. So you need to be able to, again, to work with an advisor, find out what you're truly going to be able to need. And most importantly, as we say this on the show all the time, Tony, when you're in retirement, every day is a weekend.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Right.
Every day is a Saturday.
You do have to kind of watch your spending, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy life. Right.
Right. Some people have the opposite, right? I mean, and that's really what the title of the show is about. Can you save too much for retirement? People get into that saving mode, right? And then they can't get out of that. I mean, I know people like that in retirement who have the opposite problem. They won't spend a dime, even though they have plenty of money and could do lots of things. They're like, I can't, I built this all up. I don't want to tap into it. Right.
I have some clients, Tony, exactly like that. Right. So they do have a struggle from switching from saving to spending. And, every so often I have to call them and say, hey, I mean, you guys maybe need to go on a vacation or do something. And there's no better feeling when I get a call from a client that I know has not spent a whole lot of their retirement money and they are retired. And they say, hey, I just booked that trip, to Alaska to take that Alaskan cruise I always wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So yes, I think it can be tough sometimes for a lot of people that have constantly saved and saved and saved to try to say, now I need to spend a little bit. And another thing I always hear, then I have the opposite too sometimes where they go, you know what, I want to spend all the money before I pass away. But that makes it difficult for a financial advisor, right? Because I don't know when you're going to pass away.
Right.
You could pass away at 75. You could pass away at 95. Obviously, if you pass away at 75, it's not probably going to be an issue. However, if you blow through all your money and all of a sudden now you're living to your 90 or 95, or you or your spouse lived to 90 or 95.
True.
That's where it can kind of come in with some issues about living your money. So, but here's the most important part, I think, with all this. Okay. Most people don't even know if they've saved enough, or are they going to save enough. But by scheduling a complimentary, no obligation meeting with us, no financial obligation meeting with us, we're going to be able to put together a plan for you to be able to show you, are you on track to have the retirement that you want, or maybe do you have to change some things, or maybe work a year or two longer in order to have the retirement that you do want. The one thing you don't want to do is retire and then have to come out of retirement. And I think by going through the process of getting a second opinion, by going through the process of creating what your financial plan and your income plan is going to look like, you're going to have a peace of mind. most people would kind of go through the process. And, I'm so glad. I've always wanted to do this. I was always a little bit scared to go through this process, but I feel a lot better because now I know where I am and I know where I need to go. If whatever direction that might end up being. So, the real goal for financial freedom, Tony, is really to have that peace of mind.
It is. And that's the key. Well, that's the bottom line. And this has been a great show. I can't believe we're already out of time. This flew by. How can our listeners get a hold of you, Cory?
Yeah, Tony, our listeners can give us a call at 614-760-0670 or visit our website at safeharboroh.com and schedule a complimentary no financial obligation meeting with us today.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Cory. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Financially Fit Radio with our host, Cory Sickles.
Thank you for joining us for Financially Fit Radio. Don't head into retirement without a strategy that addresses both income and taxes. For more information, please contact Cory Sickles at Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors at 614-760-0670 or visit safeharboroh.com now. Join us again soon for another episode of Financially Fit Radio.
Investment advisory services are offered by Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, LLC, and SEC Investment Advisor. Insurance products and services are offered through Safe Harbor Retirement Group, LLC, an affiliated company. Safe Harbor Wealth Advisors, LLC, and Safe Harbor Retirement Group, LLC, are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration, the Federal Medicare Program, or any government agency. All matters discussed during the show are for informational purposes only. Each individual situation may vary, and the opinions expressed here may not apply to everyone. Materials presented are believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations can be made as to its accuracy. All ideas and information should be discussed in detail with one of our qualified representatives prior to implementation. Calling this number will direct you to a licensed sales agent.